Hey, happy Saturday morning, friends. It's welcome to the Turbulent Flow vlog cast. I'm old enough that I don't even know what the heck I'm supposed to call this. Is it a vlog? Is it a blog? Is it a podcast? I don't. Who knows? Who cares? It's a talking head. It's Renee, Turbulent Flow, Cirque de Old Lady, on Instagram. Basically, just checking in to talk to myself and all of you out there in podcast land, because today, well, it's Saturday morning. It's been a few days. The sun is shining, so I actually have some light. The setup's a little differently because I actually filmed a podcast yesterday. Someone I know has a podcast called Changed by Cancer that's going to be coming out in April, and so I actually filmed. So I had a slightly different setup than I usually do with normally I'm just using my phone literally on a tripod. I hit start and go, and that's it. But that's not very interesting. The thing that I wanted to just kind of check in and yammer about today before I get going with the workout that I'm supposed to be doing is I just wanted to talk about the Artemis mission, because Jeremy Hansen, fellow Canadian, splashed down along with other members of the Artemis II team after going around the moon for the first time in over 50 years. First human mission to go around the moon in my lifetime, which was pretty spectacular. And I am, I'm a professional engineer by trade, so unsurprisingly, I'm a bit of a tech geek. I'm definitely a pro Canadian Space Agency fan. Today I'm wrong arm. Today I'm literally wearing my Canada arm shirt that I got from the Canadian Space Agency. I'm always very proud that we do have a space agency here in Canada. Like I said, Jeremy Hansen was on the Artemis II mission, which got kind of reminded me of the fact that I don't talk about it that much these days. But my partner and I, so once upon a time, I actually did apply to be an astronaut. Mostly did it because I could. It was, I want to say, over 10 years ago now. I don't remember the exact year, but I had looked on, I'd first seen it on social media that NASA actually put out on social media the requirements they were recruiting. They were looking for astronauts. Here are the, here's the list of requirements to apply for the job. Here are the minimum requirements to be an astronaut. I was looking at that list, and apart from the fact that I am not an American citizen, which you need to be to apply to NASA, so apart from that part, I was like, wow, I actually meet these requirements. I was like, I'm actually qualified to at least apply to the job. So it got me looking at the Canadian Space Agency, because they tend to recruit about every 7 years. So this is, we don't have a lot of astronauts. Our recruitment cycle in our country is pretty rare. But I knew that we had astronauts, and so I kept an eye out on their website. And so when they did have a recruitment, not too much longer after I actually saw the NASA one, so I want to say within a year, the Canadian Space Agency was recruiting for astronauts, and I threw my name into the ring. And it was just such a great thing to have the opportunity to even try for, and that I think is an important thing that I like to feel that I kind of live my life around, this idea of just giving it a shot, like see what happens. Because I knew when I applied to be an astronaut that the chances of me actually becoming an astronaut were spectacularly minuscule, you know? But the simple fact that I had the opportunity to try, I thought was worth at least the experience, you know? So I filled out a lot of questionnaires. I actually made it through several rounds of the recruitment process. It was all online, so there were tests that had to be taken, and the questions in those tests really showed me a lot about what they were looking for in an astronaut. You know, very wide range of abilities and interests and knowledge, which I thought was really cool. These are really people who are meant to have, you know, a real breadth of knowledge and skills, and I thought that was really cool to know for sure. I ended up actually keeping some of the documentation in the testing from the testing process, um, so that I could use that information. I was actually doing work with schools as an engineer in the classroom, as a in a volunteer capacity at the time. And so I used that knowledge from having applied to be a Canadian astronaut to talk to some of the young people that I was coming in contact with about the kind of skills, you know, and just to kind of get them excited about the idea of, you know, studying engineering and, you know, and the different things that we learn about, because geology was one of the huge things. Geology and robotics, which are two things that I am personally quite deeply interested in. Geology just as a general interest, for myself, and robotics is something that I actually do actively, as you know, in my professional work. So those two things combined incredibly well. I thought it was really exciting. You know, and it just gives me the ability to say, you know, these many years later, that yes, I applied to be an astronaut. I made it to the top 500 people in my country, you know. So my application was taken somewhat seriously. I made it through a few rounds, and that's something that I'm pretty proud of. But you know, less about the pride and just more about it was just really cool and really exciting to just try. Even though, you know, obviously people much more qualified ended up getting the job. I mean, I believe that currently Canada literally has 4 people in our astronaut program. Actually, now that I think about it, we're probably due for another recruitment cycle. So if you're, you know, I believe you have to be younger than I am now. So if you are a younger person, or know of a younger person who's interested in that particular field, tell them to keep an eye out on the Canadian Space Agency website, because we're probably coming up on another astronaut recruitment cycle right about now. So something to keep an eye out for. So I just thought I'd kind of check in and just, you know, geek out a little bit about this, because it is something that is that's very, you know, sort of near and dear to my heart. Like I said, I have you know, I like to wear my Canadian Space Agency Canada Arm shirt when I'm working out sometimes. I actually also regularly, when I'm a lot more dressed up than I am at this particular moment, when I'm a little more dressed up, if you see me wearing a necklace and it actually has a ring with a diamond set into it, that particular pendant is literally made of meteorite, which is why it's so very special to me, because it's, you know, it's literally a rock that came from outer space, and I love that. It doesn't look like anything particularly, you know, swishy or expensive, but it's special to me, and that's true for so many things in this world. Yeah, hilariously, now that I'm staring at the thing, the typewriter that sits next to me. This is a you know, this is an antique typewriter. that's literally from my family. My mother had it in the basement for years and years and carried it around. And a while ago now, I don't remember exactly when, but I found a typewriter refurbishing person. Yay, internet. So a person who was repairing typewriters. And so I was able to actually bring my typewriter in and get it back up and running. So this typewriter that you can see over here works. It 100% works. And I like that about machines. I like machines that work. I like older machines. I like newer machines. I like knowing that the original Canadarm that, you know, went up on and helped build the International Space Station was quite literally running on 486 computer technology at the time. This was something I learned when I had the opportunity to visit the Canadian Space Agency for something work related. I participated in a space health symposium that they hosted a few years ago, and was able to actually go to the Canadian Space Agency. And I met Robert Thirsk, which was, he's a Canadian astronaut, really lovely person. We got to hear David St. Jacques and some of the other astronauts actually speak as part of the panel. There was just, it was a special experience, and I was pretty thrilled to be participating in it. Haven't had much opportunity since then because I'm so busy, playing with and doing things related to robotics in the manufacturing world that I mostly live in. But that's a side quest discussion for a different day. Like I said, just wanted to come on here and geek out a little bit on this beautiful Saturday morning, and say hi, check in, and now it's time to get to my conditioning workout for today. I've actually just to kind of give you an update from that side of things. I've been working. Well, I have been working with a personal trainer who's developing a program for me. She's somebody that I actually know from aerial classes and aerial training, and she works as a personal trainer. So she's an aerialist and a personal trainer, and so she understands what I'm aiming for. She's somebody that I know and trust, and so I started working with her from a prehab standpoint before my surgery, before my mastectomy, to help build my strength. And now that I'm on the recovery side of things, it's 4 months now. She and I are working together to really sort of build my strength back up. I've definitely lost some endurance, so I'm going to be focusing on that. Endurance and joint stability. Those are my key my key focuses for the next few months, and probably pretty much long term. I'd say endurance and joint stability are probably the things that I'm going to want as I become an even older lady than I am right now. So I'm going to go get to work on that before, because otherwise I could just sit here and ramble and enjoy the sunshine. So the sooner I get my workout done, the sooner I can go outside and enjoy this gorgeous day. So I hope you're having a good day. As I said, mostly just came here to geek out about the Artemis II landing that I watched last night. They had a wonderfully safe splashdown, and as far as I can tell, that entire mission went like it was textbook. It all, bathroom repair problems aside, everything else, went pretty much according to plan as far as everyone can tell. And I'm looking forward to following all of the upcoming space exploration and moon related missions that are going to be coming up, because I find that very exciting. So have a good day. I will talk to you soon. Bye.